In this episode of What's Working Now, we will talk about one of the most important skills and habits you can develop, the ability to manage your money. If you're in the business or self-help world, you've probably heard the phrase pay yourself first. But what does it mean? Maybe you've heard it here on YouTube or read about it in the book The Richest Man in Babylon. Paying yourself first doesn't mean you have to spend 8% of your income on random things you don't need or nights out. Instead, you should set aside 8% of your income every time. The goal is to get started. I mentioned earlier that money management is a habit and a skill. Here's what I mean. A habit is something you develop over time. The general rule is that 14 days of repetition, or 2 weeks of practicing daily that habit without interruptions, are required to develop a habit. This rule is known as the 14 to 90 rule because it takes 14 days to develop a habit and 90 days of repetition to develop a lifestyle. While this rule usually works for most activities, especially those done daily, it will not work for money management because most people do not receive money daily. Instead, most people have a job that pays monthly or weekly. Money management is also a skill that anyone can learn and master. It's all about having the right financial literacy and much more than just putting money aside for future investments. Today, I will teach you the fundamentals of money management that will change your financial life. This is important for a healthy life, especially if you plan to grow your income and expand your horizons. It's all about how much you keep if you want to grow. Here's something you should remember: it's not about how much money you make, it's about how much money you keep for growth. It makes no difference if you make $10,000 per month if you spend it all and have nothing to invest in the future or rely on in case of an emergency. You're always one paycheck away from disaster and even bankruptcy. Did you know that 70% of lottery winners go bankrupt after winning the lottery? That's because they have no idea how to handle that kind of money. They'll invest it in things they don't understand. They won't control their emotions in the face of tempting opportunities, aren't unlimited, and they won't even keep track of their money, failing to understand that $1 million aren't unlimited money. Money management keeps you out of trouble, so if you want to grow, start thinking about how much money you put aside for investments and savings. If that percentage is less than 10%, you should reconsider your money management strategy. Most people have no idea what that percentage is, which brings me to my next point. Keep track of your finances. Most people have no idea how much money comes in and goes out. Of course, you must keep track of every penny you're spending and then classify it into 4 or 5 categories depending on your financial situation. But why won't most people keep track of their finances? There are a couple of reasons: they're lazy and afraid. Let me explain. Keeping a record of your expenditures: for some, sitting down on a weekly or monthly basis and scribbling numbers on a table or a worksheet sounds fantastic. Others are afraid of what you are asking because they aren't comfortable with the truth about how much money they are truly spending on useless things. This is because keeping track of your money reveals your spending habits, which may be deeply unhealthy. When people are uncomfortable with the truth, they do one or both: delay the truth as much as possible rather than reveal it now. They avoid the truth and pretend everything is fine. Classify your expenditures. Here's how you should classify your expenditures. Money serves 5 purposes. You make it, save it, invest it, spend it, and donate it. The last one may not be right for you depending on your financial situation, but money plays an important role in our society. Most wealthy people donate thousands, if not millions, of dollars to charities they care about. If you're in a bad financial situation, you might consider changing your subscriptions or moving to a less expensive apartment to save money on your needs. A gym membership is also necessary because it benefits your health, but you should consider working out with no equipment at home benefits. This includes everything you don't need to survive but enjoy, such as every night out with your friends, your Netflix subscription, and anything else benefits too don't need to survive. If you keep track of your expenses, this will be simple, and if you have a fixed income, you need to set a monthly spending limit that you must adhere to. Savings include all money set aside for a rainy day or an investment. Before saving to invest, you should save for emergencies. The majority of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. This means that if they lose their income today, they might not be able to make it until next month. If you live paycheck to paycheck, you're always 1 month away from failure. I'm not sure how comfortable you feel about that, so first, you should save for at least 3 months of rainy days. This means that if you lose all of your sources of income, you'll be able to survive for another 3 months. Some people even save for 6 or 12 months. This includes everything you invest in, whether you see a return or not. It's not just stocks, bonds, or real estate, it could also be investing in your education. You should always calculate your return on every investment you make, and you should always be prepared to lose money. Debt is powerful if you have the brains and discipline to use it. Have you ever heard people talk about how dangerous credit cards are? People are so afraid of debt that they won't use their credit cards, even in desperate situations. People have a negative association with debt in any way, shape, or form, and for good reasons. Compounding is usually presented as the best way to invest, and people like Warren Buffett love it because it means that the more money you make, the bigger your money-making potential is. It's like a snowball effect. Growth is exponential, and even if you start with very little money, you can make serious amounts of money if you have discipline, patience and cleverness. But here's something most people don't talk about. Compounding works both ways. It can be used to make money, and it can be used to save money. Always pay your credit card bills on time. This is the most common type of debt in the United States, second only to student loans and medical debt. However, we're not talking about failing to pay your bills on time. We're talking about borrowing money from banks to invest in, or even just using your credit card to boost your credibility in the eyes of banks. If you want to buy a home in the future, invest in, or buy a business, banks will look at your history and credit score to determine whether you are credible. If you never use your credit cards, you won't get that. On the other hand, if you use your credit cards, you will receive a few benefits in the form of small perks from your bank. Most people don't realize this, but you can negotiate with banks, and you're likely to get what you want if you ask properly. But you're not going to get it if you don't ask for it, so remember that debt is a powerful weapon and can also hurt you. If you have the right financial education and discipline, you can use this weapon. Otherwise, you should first develop and master your financial skills. 14 characteristics shared by all poor people, as well as how to spot a good investment, and what to do with that. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video or think it would benefit a friend or someone else, please share it. Also, guys, please do me a favor and click on the bell icon and enable notifications if you're a subscriber. If you're not, well, welcome to the channel, and I hope you subscribe and enable notifications. With that said, thanks for watching, and I'll see you at the next one.